I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that rough road. I want to get us on the right path and do that from the very beginning. And we got to work it out for us. But we're going to have students with schedules and kids in classes and butts in seats, and I'll have to shake a lot of hands and kiss a lot of babies for the next few months, I guess. To really get people on our side. But people have to realize that we're going to try to create as a positive environment as we can, and so that's what we have to sell all the time. So I hope that, I think that, doing it the second time around is, hopefully they'll do it better. I don't know. We'll see.
Second, first, thanks for the pen. How did you come up with Liberty Middle School as the name?
Well, I think that's what we were.
Ken, do you want to open right now?
I just think those were the ones that have done it. I think that's.
I got you. Well, I think that was a consensus choice, to, still leave a little bit of that Liberty, feeder area. And I think that's good. We're leaving a little bit of that Liberty still there so people can still grasp onto that. Was the high school I went to, kind of like WI. I mean, we talked about that, as much as we maybe like to change the name or whatever, or change mascots, do all that. WI were the Hilltoppers. They were, when they were high school, when they were middle school, they would do the same thing. So it's not much different than that, in the sense that that's what we are. So we do get to keep that Liberty community alive and well, and we're gonna make it work. I mean, heck, we gotta have a name, might as well be that name, right?
Well, the reason I ask is because I had the question asked of me. The board named these schools. I said, we had nothing to do with it. First of all, the folks that are gonna be in the building, that was my contention, was that you should have the opportunity to name it what you want to. You guys are gonna be there. So, I said, we didn't have anything to do with that. It was the people that's there, which it should be. That's the reason I brought that up.
No, I think it's a very, it's a perfect thing. Just leave it Liberty Middle, and we're gonna keep the same colors. We might change the tone or the color hue. I don't know what you call it. And we're just gonna change color a little bit, maybe a little flatter, maybe a little redder. I don't know, but we're gonna change a little bit of something, bring it into the 21st century. But for the most part, well, we might get rid of the bug. That might be a problem. But I think the bug is gonna go. The bug. You gotta know. See, you haven't been to Liberty unless you know there's a bug in the gym with 3 teeth. So that exactly.
Okay.
It's huge, and he literally has 3 teeth. So that's been there since 1974. I think that's what it says on it. Whoever's name it was, it says 74 beside it. So it's been there since the school opened. But the bug is going to go. That's been a bone of contention, I think, for some. So if there's any fight, if somebody comes to the board meeting and says, we want to leave the bug.
The school's decision.
Right, yes.
Okay, as a board member, we hear a lot of things from a lot of people. We get a lot of text messages and what have you. And, there's a lot of concern right now out there with the start of this new school, coming about. And I'm one of these that, I feel that special education should be at the front. In other words, I think you build from there, get that all in place, line up your 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders usually falls pretty much in place. Special ed is a different animal, I always had difficulty making sure that I was doing special ed the right way, and I always had to ask for help. And it seems like sometimes you don't ask for help from the right people that are professionally in it, and there's a lot of concern out there. My daughter being one of them, is a special ed teacher, but there are a lot of other special ed teachers. So they had some questions. Are there classrooms for each faculty member?
Well, I think that the classroom for every faculty member, there is not. They're just number one, some faculty wouldn't necessarily need a room to themselves. We have some special education teachers that are going to be itinerant and move from classroom to classroom with the students as an inclusion model. But we're trying to get as many as we can into a classroom, maybe not all their own, but a classroom. When we opened up Mountaineer Middle, I'll give that as an example, Doug. When we opened up Mountaineer Middle and Jimmy was there, we had 6 teachers that were in the teachers' lounge that rotated from room to room. So at that time, we didn't have enough. Now, what we did differently is, I remember, those teachers, oh man, they were in 8th grade one period, then they were in the 7th grade wing, then they were upstairs in the 6th grade wing, then they were back down to the 8th grade wing, 7th grade wing, 6th grade wing to finish out their day. What we did this year in our schedule is we put those planning periods back to back, so they can stay in the same room for 2 periods in a row. So their move is much less. It's only 3 times instead of 6. So when we did the master schedule and Susan worked with me, we thought those things through of that, okay, how can we best give these people that may not have their own classroom an opportunity to at least have a space and be somewhere, multiple periods a day instead of moving all over the place. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to answer that question beyond, no, they don't all have a classroom.
So you're going to be putting them on carts?
Well, there'll be some that'll move room to room, yeah. They'll have an office space and there'll be some that'll have to move from room to room, yeah.
Okay. All right, I guess there's been some reconstruction of some of the rooms where there's partition walls to separate classrooms.
Yeah,
Okay.
those were back in the 70s when they opened those. There were partitions between some of those rooms anyway. When they opened them, they were when Liberty held 1,200 kids. Those partitions were actually rooms. So when the enrollment went down, they just rolled some of those back. Some of them they just took out and just left it as 2 expansive classrooms and just made it 1 classroom. So yes, we have done some partitioning in some of them.
All right, well, they had separate entrances in each
Oh, yeah.
classroom.
Yep.
They have
All
to,
of them?
they have to.
Right.
All-
No, they have to have separate entrances.
They do already.
All right, will students be walking outside to assess certain classes?
Yeah, and I know, and so there are a couple art rooms and a tech ed room that we can enter from the outside, because they were former labs of CTE rooms. So to be able to use both spaces efficiently for a middle school, we don't need a classroom and a lab for a room. We just need, we can use that as 2 different spaces. So those will access between the weight room and the building along the walkway. There will be no parking in there, so there won't be any cars or anybody won't be allowed to park in there. And they can use those rooms now. On a rainy day, cold day, well, not cold day, rainy day, snowy day, we can access those through other classrooms, which is not a problem. We just don't want to do it necessarily every day because it would create a disturbance going in and out. And we're not the only, I think Johnson may have done that with some outside classrooms. I know Buchanan Upshur Middle School has a building outside that they allow kids to walk to. South Harrison in this county does it. So, this is not the first time we've had kids, walk from one building to another.
Well, especially with some of these special education kids that are a little rambunctious, I mean, you have to keep it pretty tight.
Oh, yeah,
You know where
sure.
they're at, what they're going.
Yep.
They're not just special ed kids, I think you just mean middle school.
Middle school kids. Right, thanks, Jenny.
Based
It
on
is.
my years of experience.
Middle
Some of
school
the
kids,
teachers do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose a few teachers along the way, no doubt about that. Well, this just seems to be a safety concern with the special ed department.
What's the safety concern, Doug? I'm not sure.
Being outside with, kids.
Teachers are gonna be out there, no different than walking the hallway. I think teachers are gonna be out there, monitoring that area as they walk through. We have cameras there. We'll be able to see that, we can even post a pro officer out there if we need to every day. Or at a minute, we 4 of us, and one of us can bound to stand out there and just watch them go back and forth. So until they get the routines down, we're gonna be all over the place.
Okay, between WI and Mount Airy Middle, what's your total number of special ed students?
Next year in the sixth grade, we have 83, which is about 35% of our population. Seventh grade, 91, that's 33%, and 84 in the eighth grade is 28%, 32% overall.
How many in the seventh grade?
91. Yep. And we have those numbers out. Brady Kurtz and I are working, and we'll be with Heather Sigmund, who's my team leader for special ed, and Amanda Harris coming on Thursday, and we're going to pound out that special ed schedule. I've been doing special ed schedules for, 14 years. So, I've kind of got a handle on that, but the number, we're talking about 14 staff members, not 6. So putting 14 in and trying to create that the first time is going to present some issues, but, we'll put it together.
And so how many special ed teachers are you going to have servicing all these kids?
But there's 14, I think there's 16 altogether, so there'll be 14, and 2 are the DLM teachers, so they have the more severe and profound. And then, so basically, I think it's 13, because we have 1 gifted teacher, so it'll be 13 special ed teachers that are going to service most of these students. I mean, not all, but most of them.
And what do you think your total enrollment will be for next year?
Well, I'd hope that it would be, between 810 and 825. I mean, we got a rough number. I mean, one place said 866 and another place said 812. I think,
That was our strategic plan number.
yeah, I think it's probably somewhere in between those two. So, 825, that's a good number. Again, until they put their butt in the seat, we don't know how many won.
Any other questions?
Well, I just, like I said to them, I know that Mrs. Stutler is overstaffed, make sure, and I'll be perfectly honest, and I've told her, and I'll tell everybody else, I really have a major heartburn, I think, in regard to getting Mount Airy Middle. I think it's gonna be more difficult than Robert C. Byrd.
Oh, I might agree with you on that statement.
I just think that
Middle school.
it's middle school, and I just think that, if you're not really tough on the kids from the get-go, I think it's something that you can lose, losing.
Oh, no, I don't doubt that. I think the key is consistency with everybody, not just with the administration, but consistency with the teachers and how they handle situations and how we want them to handle. So we're going to be very, very clear on the frameworks that we're going to have in place of, hey, these are things that we kind of expect and we're going to get some input from and some advice from our school leadership team to say, hey, what else do we need to add to these things? But there's going to be some non-negotiables there, Doug, and yes, 900 kids, I'm sure with Jamie's the same way, like, holy crap, like we just, we've got a lot of stuff going on, but we're going to make that, and we're going to make that the best. And I'll ask you just to be as positive as you can through this process, because, as we move forward, I have to stay positive. As much as I don't want to some days, I've got to stay positive about this process.
I was just gonna say, John, I really appreciate you and Susan's attitude coming here. I thought it was great enthusiasm. I thought everything that you said, I just want to make sure that it keeps rolling. Same with you guys down there. I wish you the best of luck. Don't let us down.
Right.
We're just- We're
I
right here for you. We're
It-
rooting for you because we really want this to happen. And I love your attitude that you guys came here with and the positive, everything that you had to say and the reflection of that you have from your staff and the communications that from your staff to us. I really appreciate it, and I think everybody else here does. And we're as enthusiastic. After your speeches tonight, am really excited to see how this is going to roll out. And if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to call.
And
Would you like to sell? I wish I could. They won't let me.
you know, I mean, that's, you know, I don't always hear good news every day. You know, I mean, we get the positive highlights tonight. You know, I mean, I'm still going, oh, you know, I hope this, you know, I want to walk into that building day one. And as I said to her, I want it all to be perfect. We know it's not going to be, but we need to get as close as we can. And, you know, we've had this talk when you were principal and I was your assistant. You know, it may look like crap in the background, but what the public sees needs to be tight and everybody together and doing the right things and putting out that product that we're proud to have and that you put out there as the principal of WI. That you and Tom was with you on that. Right. That's one thing I learned. You know, that was it. We might be struggling in the background, but out front where everybody's at, it's got to look top notch.
I'm very impressed with all 9 of you, the level of communication and collaboration. Kudos.
I couldn't do it without these guys.
This has been a long journey. It really has. And I know when we first started, everybody was just it was just very difficult, to say the least. I'm very impressed with all of you and with the attitude that you have, just like Mr. Smith said. I thank you for jumping into this and for coming at this head on and doing everything that you can to make this work. Thank you. I'm very impressed and I admire what you guys are doing.
And this is me every day, and I'm not. I'm just positive. I try to be as positive as I can every day. Like, you know, what are you gonna do? It's middle school, for God's sakes.
And as Ms. Smith said, if there's anything that you would need that we can provide, please reach out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Delegations. We have one delegation this evening. All right. Clarksburg Water Board, Jason Myers and Trenton Mosher. If you guys like to come speak, you are later on the agenda as well.
I know you need another pen.
I'll be here. I'll be here for the MOU.
Well, I'm not Jason Myers, but I mean.
Better version.
Thank you.
My name is Bob Davis. I am the plant superintendent for Clarksburg Water Board. I control the treatment side of the organization. We're not new to you all. We've been in this for 2 years now. Trenton is our protege. He's done really well. He's actually, in 2 more months, he'll be a Class 2 operator. You know, so basically what you guys done is let us get a jump. There's not enough operators in the state of West Virginia. And every day, you know, we're retiring. 8 years, I'm retired. So what you've done is it takes 2 years to at least be a Class 2 after you pass the test. You know, if we wouldn't have had this apprenticeship program and we hired Trenton, we'd be just starting. And instead, here we have a Class 2 operator, and once he gets his 3, you know, he'll be able to run our plant. So, you know, that's something to say, something to be proud of. And then you've given this guy a really, really good living, you know. So I'll let Trenton speak. I know we got to get going. We got a minute, and that's it.
I am very appreciative of this program, and honest to God, it's been a little rough starting off, just not knowing anything, and I think I've came a long way learning how to operate and just get a hold of things. Like Bob said, if I had started after I graduated, I would be starting off flat with not any knowledge. But since I started 2 years ago, I can graduate, and then in another year or so, well, a little over a year, I can get my Class 3 hopefully, and I can operate the plant by myself, which is what overall the Clarksburg Water Board needs. And a lot of water plants in all areas need it because there's just not enough around anywhere. It's not a career that is really talked about much, and it's not something that I'd never heard of it before the program, really. It's just, you know, most people, they turn that water on, they don't think of what it takes to get the water where it is. They don't think of the people that have to go through different processes and have to learn how to do it. They just turn the water on. And I was one of those people until I got the program and became an operator. But I am very appreciative of where I've gotten to. Miss Knight got me a long way, and I remember when she introduced me to the program, I got called down because Miss Knight, and at the time the ag teacher, Mr. Tennant, he suggested that I'd be a good student for the program, and I'm very appreciative of both of them for getting me this program, honestly.
Have you got anybody else following him?
Yes, Bob's gonna be here. You'll have an MOU later in the agenda, and he's gonna introduce the need for this MOU and this new program, this apprenticeship program that we're doing.
I'm not like Bob, I had to write this down. I don't do this. I'm Bobby Fazzini, I'm Director of Distribution, the other side of the water board. I want to thank you all for having us here for this water distribution youth apprenticeship program. Let me start with a simple truth. Not every student's path leads to college, and that's perfectly okay. Some of our brightest young people excel with their hands, solve problems in real time, and aren't afraid to tackle challenging physical work. These are exactly the students we're looking for. Our program offers hands-on training skills that are always in demand, like our GIS mapping, our CAD software, water system maintenance, leak detection, heavy equipment operations, and much more. But we're not just teaching jobs, we're opening doors to careers. Whether it's in the utility maintenance, construction, or the gas industries, these skills create opportunities that can keep our talent youth right here in Harrison County. Think of this as a partnership as win-win-win. Students get real world skills and clear paths. Wrong. Yeah, it was right. Global employees get well-trained workers who understand our community needs, and Harrison County keeps its homegrown talent where it belongs, right here at home. The truth is, while some students thrive in traditional classrooms, others come alive in the fields. We're offering these students a chance to build not just water systems, but their futures right here in the community they call home. Thank you for your time for this. Like I said, I don't do this, so this is.
Great job.
I'm a former speech coach and you were excellent.
It's only uphill from here, Bob.
No, that's what I.
All right. Dr. Baker, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, just very appreciative of the partnership.
We love working with Dr. Beckett and Mrs. Knight. They are an absolute joy to work with. They make the process so easy. So.
Very good. Thank you. All right, next item is our superintendent's update.
Wow, you're gonna make me follow you?
After that great speech, I gotta follow you. Yeah, I just wanna say before I get started, I've seen behind the scenes all the work that's happened and it has been a process, a long process to get to here, very emotional, and you guys are there on the ground, seeing the emotion and dealing with that. We're kind of removed from that. You guys are dealing with it with your employees. I see it, I understand it, and just all the processes, and I hope that if there's anything you need, that you're letting us know. I know you're reaching out to your supervisors and things, but can't say enough about the work that you're doing. And we're gonna get these schools open. We have to, like you said, it's a non-negotiable, John, to get these schools open, and we've got the right people in the right place to do it. So thank you so much for what you're doing. That being said, I wanted to just let you know, we do have a lot of things going on, but, we hired a new secondary specialist, and I just happened to be out. I was not soliciting that at all, and I had someone come over to me and say how much they appreciated the SAP materials that were brought out to the school. So I don't know whether RCB, I think they went everywhere, but she just came over, so we just hadn't had that for a long time. The materials were brought to us. And she was new in the job, so I just appreciate that too. And I went down to see her today to tell her that, because like I said, it was unsolicited for that. Also, before I move on, I want to thank the folks in here that's working with these schools, getting all the stuff in order. It's a lot of more work. I mean, we still got our regular jobs going on. You've got your regular jobs going on, and this is just on top of that as well. Also, just an update on our calendar. We've been waiting for this magical waiver. We did a waiver to the state. We were told at our superintendent's meeting that it looks like only waivers were given for flooded areas. So we will go ahead and put out, Mr. Oliveri will get our blitz out that we are adding the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to the calendar, because it looks as if we're not going to get a waiver. So that's where we'll be, and we'll get that information out. You can go ahead and start putting it out so parents know, because they need to know. what's going on. And also in your packets, you've got next year's calendar, the new one for next year. And we've got that out, copies of that, putting it out so parents have next year's calendar. Also, Mr. Oliverio can give us an update on the survey. We did our survey of the staff, the satisfaction survey, our workplace survey, and we're working on he's worked with them. I've tried to kind of stay out. And if you want to give us an update, David, where that's at, and I know they want to do a work session with the board.
They will. They want to wait to do any work. We have built into the contract several work sessions. But they want to get through everything first. So the first phase of this was the survey. The next phase will be focus groups. And they want to do all of this before they start doing, because you may get some different data during focus group sessions than we got there. So they want to have a more holistic approach to everything. That will happen. Pull up my email here. So we are looking at, we have 6 focus group sessions. 1 for high school, 2 for parents, and 3 for staff. The students will be the week of May 12th, although we haven't quite settled on a date there. We want to work with the schools. That'll be in the afternoon. Parents will be May 6th and 12th, both at 6 p.m. For staff, May 7th, 13th, and 15th, all at 3:15 p.m.
Are these random selections for staff? Are they sending out invitations?
They handle everything themselves.
Okay.
They will handle the links. They will handle the invitations. They select. We have completely nothing to do with it, other than maybe facilitating. If anybody wants to do it at the school, they're more than welcome to. If they want to go home and do it, they're more than welcome to do that. But that will all be handled by them. In fact, for the best of my knowledge, we won't even be, I don't believe that I myself or Superintendent Sutler would even get a link for that. I think we would probably be filtered out just for bias purposes. That way we can't, and of course, these are online. You can turn off your camera. There's going to be, there's anonymity involved. You don't have to give your name, but they will handle all the contact for that. For all 3 phases, for students, staff, and parents. For the survey, we did for parents and guardians, we had a 29% response rate, which we did send out to email addresses. When it comes to data, I don't know if you know the phrase garbage in, garbage out. We relied on everything from Weebus. We don't communicate as the schools don't normally communicate via email to the parents. So we don't know how, great that the email addresses are. If somebody fat thumbed it, if somebody put a space in the wrong place, it comes back to you. For staff members, for secondary students, again, this was just for secondary students. The response rate was 16%. A few schools kind of helped out a little bit more than some others, but we weren't going to get involved in how the schools handled that. One school decided that they were going to allow kids time first thing in the morning. Other schools said, well, we'll send it out to our kids, and that was okay. However they wanted to handle it, they did. Staff members, our response rate was 39%. So that is, I believe, around about maybe a little bit better than what we did last year. So, for what that's worth. We do have overall results, but I want to wait until the initial results from the survey, but I want to wait till the focus groups before we actually get into any of that stuff and allow the company to come in and give us that. Of course, we'll always have the data. I've made some, that will all be available. It'll be available to the public. We've already got binders that I made today with graphs and all the stuff that anybody would ever like to come and see it. And all of this stuff will be available. It will not be available online just because there are graphs involved and there are things like that, but they'll always be available for anyone who wants to come and you can make copies of, whatever. They'll just be available at the county office.
Thanks.
That's good.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to tell you, we were talking about the hot lunch program. We did get word, Mr. Gibson came down to see me to the CEP program. Right now for next year is staying intact. So there'll be free lunches like we've done. All the schools have qualified. We have one that doesn't, but that's the one we normally cover anyway. So that was good news. And actually, I asked Mr. Gibson when he came down to present to you, because they are working, the nutrition directors have all had several meetings, several teams about the changes in the law with what we can serve, what we can't. That goes in effect August 1st. So a lot of the orders had already been placed, and it involves USDA. There's a lot of pieces to that. But I tell you what, the nutrition directors were on it, and they're already looking at menus for next year. So I did ask him, it'll probably be a little later, he'll present to you when he has all the information on what the menus will look like.
Really concerned about the pepperoni.
There's lots of different things that's going to change our menus, but they really are on top of it. Yeah. You'll be shocked at some of the
No
things
pepperoni rolls?
that's coming off of our menu, a
Ooh,
different type or something, they're going to come up with a different solution. So he will present. I also did ask Mr. Poole and Mr. Snyder to present, to give us an update on safety too, so we'll have them on an upcoming agenda, just because we've got a lot of new software in place, we've got a lot of new equipment that's been installed, and I think you guys need to hear where we're at with that. So that's been going on really all year. So those are things coming up. We had 109 employees so far that's been involved with the open enrollment, person to person with our representative that's been in the school location. So that's been a good rollout to get folks face to face with our open enrollment. It's Amanda Sims has been working on that. So that's been good news coming up. And also our dental providers, you'll see that later coming up. We had 3 dentists that responded back. It was Dr. Grubler, Meinig, and Beltry that gave us comment. Many, I always say that wrong, but they all commented back. I think their biggest thing is they want to be involved in the party administrator when we put it out for an RFP. That's what they want to see. So we're going to invite them in when we put it out, and we'll let them look at the third-party administrator and go from there. That was more their thing than looking at that, even though they did review it and look at it. So we said we'd love to have them in for that process. That surprised me a little, but that was like, this is what it's about, is that third-party administrator. So that's great. We'll get their comment on that. Also, we have on an agenda coming up in May, we're going to recognize our teacher and service employees of the year. So that'll be on that next agenda. And then I think that's all I have. I think Mr. Lopez, do you have the facilities update?
Yeah, just real quick, the building projects, positive things tonight. Nutter Ford, the roof was about 95% complete. We have just where the cutouts where the equipment's going to go, for the HVAC equipment, there's some openings there. That will be completed this week, and it'll be fully under roof. Most of the tie-in to the building is complete, but that last little bit will be completed this week. At Simpson, we talked about some of the concerns there with the old foundation. It's been over excavated to pull out all that old equipment that was in there from the old building, probably in the 1920s. The contractor added a lien contract on Monday, so it's set up well, and they're putting in the rebar and will pour the footers on Thursday. So we'll finally start to see some progress. It's been a lot of bumpy roads going through it, but it's going to be a very nice facility. As far as the secure entrances, Robert C. Byrd and Mountaineer Middle School are on target to meet substantial completion, going extremely well. Really pleased with Lombardi and the way that they've approached that, and I think they've worked well with the school administration on that. Mark Miller from the School Building Authority is going to be coming up. It was going to be on Friday, but he chose to wait until after spring break because he needs to visit also United Technical Center. So he's going to come up and review the MIP grant project that Dora put together. And it's going to be right after spring break. He didn't want to give an exact time, so I'll let you know when that will be. As far as transportation and the bus routing, we are in the process. I think I maybe was trying to be an overachiever with saying that we would be complete with those in March. That's not going to happen. We're looking around the 1st of May, but we have a good team that is collaborating together. And we want to make sure before we put those out there, think of public. That's what parents are going to think that it's going to be. And so if there's going to be any tweaks after that, that could create some problems with the continuity. And the old routes get out there, they're public. So we just want to make sure that we're accurate. Really working with Jim Linger and John Elbert. Jim Linger is really has very strong skill set with the routes. So he's collaborating along with me and John in getting those routes together. So we're going to make sure that we have those complete. And we're shooting for the first part of May. Okay. So the schools will know what the routing is going to be. And on a positive note as well, the school personnel of the year, we had a committee that met last week. And you probably saw that that went out. Mr. Olberry put that out. Ivy Paul from Johnston Elementary. We're really excited. And I had to announce that because I called Mr. Olberry. Heather Holbert was so excited she couldn't contain herself. So I knew before it went out in Bridgeport News, I had to get a hold of Mr. Olberry so he wouldn't steal his thunder. So, but we're real excited and she will be recognized at the next board meeting. I believe that's all.
Thank you. Hey, just before, Doug has Mr. Hope has an update for UTC, but you've got a packet of things, with information that had been requested, just different things. There's a kind of a thing from Jason Snyder on THC base and some information on there. Your discipline data, starting from the year forward is in there. We usually do that on the second meeting as well. And there's the attendance exceptions, that's in there. So just data for you to look at. It was requested, but not necessarily on the agenda. And then the discipline data is also in here for the elementary schools involved with the transfer hearings. That's in there for you to look at as well. And then there's some playground information that's on the agenda later to come. All right, Mr. Hope.
Okay, let me brief. Career Center, we met and announced that graduation for the Career Center will be May the 15th, and it'll be held at the Rawson Grand Theater at 6 o'clock, and everybody is welcome to come and attend the graduation if they so desire. And they had a 7 more drop from the enrollment. Most of it is in the adult, that they lose adults. And they lost 1 from Bridgeport, 1 from homeschool, 1 from Liberty, 3 is the adults, and 2 from Robert C. Burke. So there were 7 that dropped from the Career Center, and that brings the enrollment down to 370 is what they had at that point. And then also they was really concerned over House Bill 3452, where the state wanted to take over the all the the career technical centers, the adult programs, but fortunately that died. So it'll stay as is. The career center should continue to have their adult programs. And also, there was a total of from Harrison County, there was a total of 12 students that are to be recognized as winners. There was 3 that was gold, 5 silvers, and 4 bronze in the competition, skills competition. So, we'll get them on the agenda to recognize our Harrison County. And there was a total, I think, of 25 overall for the entire, so many from Doddridge and so many from Taylor, but we had, like I said, we had 12 from Harrison County that was winners. And been recognized. I think that pretty much sums up the career center.
Thank you. I'm completed.
All right.
I just one question.
Yes.
The PSAT, they did the PSAT for 9, 10, 11, all the high schools did 9, 10, 11. Okay, and when are,
Saturdays
well,
are
sat for
They're all finished, yeah.
okay, and when are the elementary dates for the GSA?
We start on the 29th of April.
April 29th.
23rd.
Each school they've sent us.
Each set has a different.
Has a different kind of schedule going on?
So we know,
Spread it out different. Some do all third grade and some do third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, ELA. It's just whatever works best for them.
That's all I want.
Okay, brings us down to new business. First item, Dr. Looker and Mr. Harrod request contingency funds. Is there a motion to approve contingency funds to us? I'm sorry.
Back up.
Yes, in the amount of $6,375. Second?
Second.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll go back after this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. We'll go back to consent items. Is there a motion to approve consent items as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Back to new business. Mr. Decker, request for contingency funds for $7,200 for Lincoln High School. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
We'll take that as a motion in a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
can I just tell you that you have an update on the contingency fund amounts?
Yes.
In your
it's in your
packet.
packet.
Okay. Forgot to tell you.
All right, it's Mountaineer Elementary Playground. There's a motion to recommend Davis Athletics to furnish and install 2 playgrounds at Mountaineer Middle Elementary School at a total cost of $308,790.01 through the TIPS Cooperative Purchasing Co-op contract.
That was already previously budgeted for the whole move, and Mrs. Nancy has worked diligently and with Danielle Beltry on, and the teachers there, put together the playground, and I think she's provided you some samples there. Would you like to say anything, Julie, about that?
We've just gone through this process where what teachers want, what principal wants, he's taking things on, taking things off, we negotiated, and it comes down to this. And that's just sort of about drawing the aerial view that we have.
And the pre-K has the surface that they can ride on.
Yeah, it's,
She negotiated that part. We got it added. Yes.
All right, is there a motion to accept the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the board? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Purchase for maintenance vehicles from Midstate Ford. There's a recommendation to purchase order, or a purchase order to be issued to Midstate Ford for the purchase of 2 maintenance vans at a total cost of $115,562. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just, how many will this make us have purchased in the last, last 3 or 4 years?
we've got a couple one quarter, a couple more last year, so this will be 6 or 7. With, if you add the box bed in there. Box truck.
So we've added those in the last 2 years. Okay. So this is good. I mean,
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. There's a motion to approve a change order for Bridgeport High School and Bridgeport Middle School boiler replacement project in the amount of $736,415. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I will note that the motion to approve change order number 2 is from City Construction in the amount of $75,000 to furnish and install contracts and to extend time to manufacturer delay. Revised total cost of the project is $736,415. So the change order is $75,000.
who's this through?
City Construction.
City construction.
Any questions? Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, is there a motion to approve the recommendation for revising purchase order to Central Van and Storage for moving library costs not to exceed $12,641, which brings the total purchase order to $267,662.70.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Now, this is to move both schools.
Liberty High School, Mountaineer Middle, W Rock Middle, and Northview, yes.
Liberty's storing their own. Yeah, Liberty's storing their own.
Any other questions? You have the bid in front of you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Is there a motion to approve the MOU between WVU High School Access Morgantown and Harrison County Schools? You have the memorandum of understanding in front of you.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'm going to briefly describe this real fast. Just go over this real fast. Is this a continuation of the memorandum? Have we had this before? Superintendent Sumner? Oh, okay.
You put that on there, yeah. That is a dual credit, so you have to use it. And, there are 2 courses being added to the AP, business economics. And so students will be able to receive credit for that.
Okay.
Yes, that is used.
Okay.
You said AP?
Yes.
It doesn't say AP.
It says, econ.
Yeah, there will be part of the dual, I'm sorry.
So it's uni.
Dual credit.
Dual credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of nice that it's asynchronous
It's a link.
too.
Yes. I'll give you a little highlight, really how it came to me.
Yes.
I made the request.
Yes.
The Ken Kendrick Foundation's working with WVU and is offering economics for free. And so that's what I brought it up to Ms. Knight to get this MOU going. So it'll be economics, I believe it's 201 is the number,
Yes.
that will allow our students to have it for free. No cost to our district, no cost to the students, free college credit. And so they're able to facilitate that for us.
And it's needed.
We are looking to offer it through distance learning as well, so any other high school, we have our facilitator at Lincoln and potentially offer that throughout the
Well,
county.
plus it's asynchronous,
It is,
so they wouldn't be meeting at the same time every day.
correct.
So that's good.
So will you have a course, will you have
Yes,
they will be meeting?
I'm gonna have a
as a class?
facilitator. Yes, I have a section where my facilitator will be able to support them. She is also, has her master's in economics through the Kendrick Foundation. I have 3 teachers at Lincoln who are going through that process to get their master's degree, free of cost to our staff. So it's a great. Yeah.
Have you pre-registered for the class yet?
Have I?
Have you pre-registered your students?
Yes, we have
Do you
11
have
students that are,
11?
that were interested, and I'm gonna hold them to joining that, yeah.
You said it, since it's distance learning, is it able to open it up to anybody else?
That is our hope, to expand it during that block, and we'll have our facilitator available to work with anybody in the county.
Very nice.
I believe that class is also an elective for one of the new version 7 CTE programs.
Yes,
called
it
Business
is.
Enterprise. So that's going to open up some college credit for our CT students.
Yes.
That's smart.
All right, any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. MOU between Harrison County Schools and the Clarksburg Water Board. Thank you, Mr. Decker. Is there a motion to approve the MOU between Harrison County Schools and the Clarksburg Water Board?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions while we have them here? If there are any questions.
Yeah, I just have one
I
question.
think you did a fine job.
Now that you've sat here, how many of you are motivated to run for school board now?
God bless you all. I thought our meetings were long.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for everything that you're doing as well.
And of course, you can stay.
No, thank you.
I gotta go back to work.
I gotta go to work tonight.
So, go to old business, dental and vision plan. You have that before you, and there's a motion to recommend revisions to the Harrison County self-insured dental vision plan be accepted as presented. And you see that in public content. It is available for everyone to look at. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation for revisions? Is there a motion to accept? There are no motions to accept for the recommendations for the revisions to the dental plan?
Could this be laid over so that we could read this and digest it?
Yes, you can make a motion to table if you
I'd
want.
like to make a motion. Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Second.
Well, for discussion, there's a motion and a second for tabling. I think that these are the revisions that if I'm not mistaken, that you had talked with the doctors about, correct?
There was no revisions
They did not.
The only change made to it was clarify what Smith made, and so we made it say that it was claims for accidental injury to teeth covered elsewhere would not be covered. That was the only change that was made, so the plan will then out there for review since March 17th.
So with that revision, the administrative plan, is that what you said, third, no? What did you say?
It was page 11, and it was number 12, talked about expenses not covered. It used to say claims for accidental injury to teeth. We added covered elsewhere. It's actually talked about in 14.2. So if any other insurance covers those dental procedures that need to be done, then they would not be covered by our policy. So in the case of a car accident, and you have to have the teeth knocked out or whatever, they would first go to car accident insurance before they ever hit.
Okay. So the public content, the main points of interest for the updates are pertaining mostly to the third-party
Yes.
administrator, and then changing the plan to align with the fiscal year, July 1st, 2025. Expanded information regarding COBRA, USCRRA, application of state law, random reimbursement, Medicaid. So this plan hasn't changed except for what?
Except for that 2 words.
So same plan,
Except for 2 words.
except for 2 words.
So,
Very important words.
I mean, I'd be willing to withdraw my motion if I was a little more clear. In other words, you being the business lady, are you in favor of what's been presented?
The plan structure itself, basically what we covered, remains the same. The major change was we removed the deductible for the orthodontia because we cover up to $2,000. So why do the $50? Because you can't get orthodontia for $2,000. It's way more than that. So that was sort of a redundant thing. And then the only other thing we added was the 6 or 3 option.
Will we still have the issue of providers doing the discounts?
This is the basic plan. That comes in when you.
Put it out.
The third-party administrator
Okay.
is the issue. And that's where the like I said, the plan's wonderful. But it's all about the
Okay.
third-party administration, because that's where our true issues lie, is in the third-party administration. And having a plan that was, for lack of a better word, written by a third-party administrator that was administrative.
So we'll do an RFP with this plan. We can't put it out till we have a plan. And then those dentists have offered to help.
Help evaluate.
So, and overall, the dentists were good with the percentages and what was being offered and.
That's not even discussed in the plan, because that's where we get into the third-party administration.
Okay.
Because every third-party administrator has their own networks. So that's when we get into those.
That's why they were interested in seeing that piece of it, the dentist. Yeah.
Sounds like that's all they were.
Uh-huh, pretty much. They want to be.
Well,
part
that's
of
their
the-
bottom line, yeah.
Yeah, but we can't put it out for an RFP till this is approved.
I would think you would want to have more dentists involved in that final
We have it
piece
from public.
instead of three.
Not just dentists, but optometrists.
The optometry hasn't changed at all. It's
We didn't
going to-
change
But
it.
don't they want to know anything about the third-party administrators too? I'm just asking.
Bring that in when they do the RFP, because the plan isn't any different.
Right.
They can come in and review the RFPs as well. Yeah, that'd be fine. Jill will put it out in an RFP and then we'll see who we have and they're welcome to come in. We can reach out.
It's always a public opening.
Yes, then with this, and not hold things up so that it gets out, I would be willing to withdraw my, motion.
Okay, Mr. Hoag is withdrawing his motion. All right, is there a motion to approve the dental and vision plan as presented?
I make a motion, we approve the dental and vision plan as presented.
Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second.
All right. Well, it seems like there needs to be some discussion as to why. we
Why
can't get
everybody's
this on the
hesitant,
floor.
I don't know.
Why can't we, what, is there any, hold on, drawback? What were we
Well, I
talking
think if the third-party administrator is the piece that we're all waiting for, we have to approve the plan in order to go to the next step.
Correct.
So we're really not approving anything except the
We're
plan.
approving the
To
plan.
send it out.
Yes.
We're just
Now we're
sending it out.
going to be able to send it out.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why.
And we're gonna have dental professionals and vision professionals involved
The
in the
dental
third party.
agree, we will invite them.
Okay.
Okay.
Optometrists.
Who came up with this plan? If we only change a couple, 3 words, then it's the plan from the folks that have been handling it all the time.
No,
We
it's
took a
our
lot of the
plan.
language out that had their name in it, like the American benefits.
And that also had the networks defined in the plan, of what networks could be used.
That should be your third party.
That's the issue that, and there was a lot of language in there which caused a great disparity about what our dental providers are going to pay. It wasn't a disparity among the optometrists because it was a flat up to this amount. That was not the issue. The issue was the disparity in the amount that our dental providers are being paid. And how the administrative fees were being calculated. Plus the other issues with the administrative.
And we did have an attorney review.
I think
And made
the
any-
question is, the folks that are out there, the employees are worried about the fact that the dentists that they have now, they're gonna have to end up changing
We don't
because they're
know
not going to participate, they won't
Yeah, we
participate.
won't. We'd have to see who that.
But there's also a thing in the plan about either non-network providers.
It's usually have to pay more if it's out of network.
Is there any further discussion? All right, to clarify the motion, this is a motion to approve the dental plan as presented so that it can go out for an RFP.
Envision.
Yes, and vision, yes. All right, the question has been called. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Opposed. Motion carries 4-1. All right, brings us down to personnel. I would like to make a executive, I would like to make a motion that the board go into executive session 6-9A, 4-2 of the West Virginia Code, that we discuss personnel matters, which if discussed in public might affect adversely the reputation of any person. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is in executive session.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we were at personnel. Yes, we have to pull,
I'm asking to pull, Joanna Barnett from the professional personnel, the second probationary contract.
Okay.
Please pull that.
is there a motion, and I believe I have to recuse myself on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
I have to recuse myself on this one for personnel.
I haven't accused myself in personnel.
Okay.
We have to-
I think there's,
My daughter's on the list.
and your daughter's on the list, my brother's on the list, I believe, yeah. Okay, so let's pull those out separately. My recusal, your recusal, pull those out separately. Is there a motion to approve the personnel agenda with removing Doug's recusal for his daughter, my recusal for my brother, and Joanna Barnett,
Joanna Barnett.
right, Kay Barnett.
You
For
know,
contract renewal. Is that a motion? Is that a motion?
I would make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that brings us to legal and disciplinary matters. Is there a motion to approve the suspension of William Leesburg?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Suspension of employee B. Is there a motion to approve the suspension for Katarina Adams?
I so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Suspension of employee C. Is there a motion to approve the suspension for Jennifer Leggett?
I so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, suspension of employee D. Is there a motion to approve suspension for Renee Harrod?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, board member comments. Mr. Tucker.
I think we should, I mentioned it earlier, all these presentations, leave them till the end so we have a room here that at least gets to hear what a board meeting is. But thank all those that did come tonight and for the folks that presented too. Congratulations to all those winners. Appreciate that very much.
Mr. Hope.
At this late hour, I have no comments.
Dr. Santelli.
Yeah, I was able to go to the chicken auction at Bridgeport High School for FFA. We had a ball. I got a picture with the chicken.
Which one did you buy?
I did not buy anything. There was,
Oh,
that's your dog. And also I went to RCB's play, Little Shop of Horrors. I was blown away. Absolutely amazing. And Friday night, I went to the TESOL conference. That's for our ELL teachers. And I got to work with 3 of our Harrison County teachers. Really, really good ideas on some things that we could do that aren't gonna cost anything, that will help our language learners.
Thank you. Ms. Smith.
I just want to reiterate what I said earlier about I'm really excited about the administrators that came to
Yes.
speak tonight. I applaud their positive attitude and the support from their staff. I think it's great. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to happen, and I hope it continues to grow and the excitement build. And I hope the kids in the community are just as excited as the staff and the administration are.
Absolutely. Very good. I would like to thank you all for working together with all of us. You guys as board members, we all do this for the real reason that it's supposed to be done. It's definitely not for money. And I appreciate every single one of you. And thank you for all the work and time that you put into this.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Hope?
Children of peace, go in peace.
Roger. Thank you very much.